my remarks there and request all of us to be upstanding and welcome our guest of honor, the Prime Cabinet Secretary and Minister for Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, to give his guidance. Let's welcome him all with a hand.
Thank you. Please be seated. Okay. May I say good morning to you all? Yeah. Let me start by acknowledging the representative of the governor of the county of Mombasa, also the National Treasury and Economic Planning, Mr. John Karani, Chairman of the Kenya Institute of Supply Management Council, members of KISIM Council, Mr. Kenneth Matiba, the Chief Executive Officer, KISIM members, partners, and stakeholders, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Hamjambo tena. It gives me a great pleasure to join you here today for the second edition of the Heads of Supply Chain and Procurement Forum 2024. Let me take this opportunity to congratulate you for organizing this elaborate forum that brings together your members, key speakers, partners, and stakeholders in the procurement and supply chain ecosystem. This is a lively platform to further your vision of developing competent and ethical supply chain management practitioners. It also enables us to take stock of the progress we have made in entrenching the judicious procurement practices envisaged by the architects of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act of 2015. As we celebrate the maturity of your profession, let us reflect on how to navigate the tough times that our country is going through due to domestic and external shocks. Global economic prospects remain uncertain due to recession, high interest rates, and supply chain disruptions caused by the Russia-Ukraine war, Israel-Hamas conflict in the Middle East, and furthermore, mounting debt has ravaged the economies of middle and low-income borrower countries across Africa and Asia. On the domestic front, the challenges of climate change, including drought last year and floods this year, have contributed to a significant increase in the cost of living. Further pressure from high debt service has forced the government to make haircut budget adjustments on essential public sector development programs. The situation is so tight that we have been forced to make difficult decisions to keep our country in motion and avoid public confrontation with the people, particularly our youth, who have recently expressed their displeasure about the cost of living and lack of jobs through public demonstrations. This has slowed down the implementation of the government's bottom-up economic transformation agenda, thus stifling our ambitious vision of economic and social transformation. In the midst of this crisis, the government has taken serious austerity measures to improve efficiency on allocation of resources and cut back on wasteful expenditure. This is precisely where you, as supply chain and procurement professionals, fit Procurement and supply chain management is central to the growth and transformation of our country to a middle-income industrialized nation. You can help improve the situation and safeguard the livelihoods of our people, particularly if you embrace the technological advances driving your industry, including artificial intelligence, blockchain, and cloud computing. Ideally, you should be helping to ease the pain of the government by ensuring that all procurement processes deliver value for money for the people. Unfortunately, you stand in an awkward position where the supply chain and procurement community is blamed for the most rampant cases of public sector fraud and corruption that have constricted the growth of our country. You are certainly aware of Goldenberg, Anglo-leasing, and other grand cases of corruption. It was also widely reported in 2021 that Kenya loses close to 2 billion shillings daily on corruption, mostly related to procurement rigging. Every year, the Comptroller and Auditor General publishes a litany of corruption, abuse of office, and mismanagement of public resources. We have seen cases in court of public officials who have accumulated tons of cash and assets that they can never earn from their regular pay and investment options in a lifetime. And I'm told the Auditor General was with you earlier. Globally, 2.6 trillion US dollars is lost annually to corruption. In other words, corruption eats away 5% of the world's gross domestic product. The estimate for Kenya is 608 billion Kenya shillings, or 7.8% of GDP, according to the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. And they are in the House as well. Kenya is ranked 126 out of 180 countries in the 2023 Transparency International Global Corruption Index. Corruption hurts the poor people most. They are denied health services, education, water, electricity, roads, and other services that should transform their livelihoods. Public procurement is perceived to be more susceptible to corruption compared to other areas of government, such as tax collection, passport issuance, the judiciary, or public utilities. My challenge to you, therefore, today is to reflect on how you can position your profession to support our country's development agenda. You have an opportunity to change the negative perception and blanket condemnation about your noble profession by ensuring that your members operate within the laid down legal and regulatory frameworks. Your profession can play a more strategic role in helping Kenya navigate the complex issues that it is experiencing. To do this, you need to address systemic weaknesses and loopholes in the supply chain and procurement system, particularly the following, just to sample a few. First, you must rise above the 10% cut label that is synonymous with a procurement practice. Weed out bureaucrats, suppliers, and procurement officers engaging in corrupt practices such as bribery, embezzlement, kickbacks, and tender rigging that undermine transparency and fairness in public service delivery. Second, you have to enhance transparency in the procurement process by addressing issues such as non-disclosure of information and processes that can breed mistrust and suspicion among stakeholders. Third, address the root causes of inefficiencies and delays caused by government red tape and bureaucracy. These inefficiencies can be frustrating for both suppliers, government agencies, as well as the Kenyan citizens who need efficient service delivery. Fourth, enhance the capacity of government agencies and skills of procurement officers to handle complex procurement processes to reduce inefficiencies, errors, and opportunities for corruption. Continuous training and licensing of KISM can help cure these ills. Fifth, protect your profession from political influence, including mine, that has led to awards being made based on political considerations rather than on merit. You must fight back the call from above, being used to influence your decisions, and remain steadfast in your compliance to procurement regulations and procedures. Sixth, adequate monitoring and oversight mechanisms are necessary to track and deal with irregularities that undermine the accountability and integrity of the procurement processes. You have to fully implement the laid out framework and legal mechanisms to ensure compliance. Seventh, ensure adequate supplier performance monitoring after contracts are awarded to deal with substandard delivery, delays, and cost overruns. This will help the government deal with the problem of pending bills, which have been alluded to earlier, that have become rampant in national and county governments. Another challenge for your profession is the need to uphold good corporate governance principles that separate the power of the board of directors and accounting officers. The board is responsible for approval of budgets and oversight, while accounting officers draw their mandate from the Constitution 2010, the Public Finance Management Act 2012, and the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act of 2015. Accounting officers must also comply with the guidelines and directives issued by the National Treasury and the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority. Contract evaluation, implementation, inspection, acceptance, and disposal committees also have a responsibility to carry out their work in accordance with the laws and regulations governing their operations. The investigative agencies in the procurement and supply chain ecosystem, including the Director of Public Prosecutions, Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, and the Inspector General of Police, also have a critical role to play in enhancing your professional conduct. This will mitigate against the generalized condemnation of procurement and supply chain management practitioners for mistakes that are committed or attributable to the accounting officers or the user or technical departments. The time is now, not tomorrow, to fix these issues. Governance is a key pillar of the government's economic and social transformation agenda, enhancing the accountability and integrity of our procurement and supply chain systems will support the government's efforts to protect Kenya's reputation as the regional financial and logistics hub in Eastern Africa. You must play your part in safeguarding Kenya as an attractive destination for foreign direct investment. It is our commitment to deliver a more equitable and secure future for all Kenyans. I therefore encourage you to deepen the initiatives that KSIM has embarked on recently to support the government to respond better to the needs of people. These actions include: 1, giving recommendations on how to overcome the challenges emanating from the impact of the withdrawal of the Finance Bill 2024, submitting proposals regarding the review of the public procurement sector pricing model, enhancing professionalization of supply chain management through enhanced compliance, and automation of procurement processes are spot on. Being the first professional body in Kenya to operationalize the recognition of prior learning framework, opening the Kenya College of Supply Chain Management to offer structured capacity building programs aimed at enhancing professionals of the practice, creating 9 regional chapters in the country to make its services accessible, growing its active members to over 10,000 from 6,000 in the past few years, automating the registration and licensing process for responsive service delivery to its members, among others. Ladies and gentlemen, let me assure you that my office will continue to work with other ministries, departments, and agencies to ensure that we are well appraised to deliver services to citizens through the laid out performance contracts, medium-term plans, and strategic plans. I am also aware that KSIM is developing a new strategic plan for 2025 to 2030. This presents a great opportunity for your strategic direction to be aligned with the government's agenda to develop a highly skilled, agile, and responsive public sector. It should also foster environmental and social governance best practices. In our continued pursuit of excellence, the government has digitized its essential services, which are now accessible online to all citizens. This initiative, under the digitization and digital superhighway pillar, is driving the future of efficient government service delivery. As part of this agenda, the government is setting up digital centers across the country to enable Kenyans to access government services online and create jobs for the youth. The target is to digitize 80% of critical government services. This digitization plan also requires the procurement of government tenders be done online through the e-procurement system, which the Treasury has elaborated on. This is being piloted in 12 public entities, leading up to the target launch on January 1st, 2025. Digitization can disrupt corruption by reducing discretion, increasing transparency, and enabling accountability by dematerializing services and limiting human interactions. It also allows for more effective oversight by smarter accountability institutions and data-savvy civil society. It should also put rogue elements in our procurement system on notice. The overarching goal for these initiatives is to improve the business climate and expand opportunities for micro, small, and medium enterprises to increase their contribution to national development. A more vibrant MSME sector will procure more locally available goods and services, thus creating jobs, shielding the economy from imported inflation, and spurring development of our local industry. Women and people with disabilities through the AGPO program should benefit more from government tenders in the set quarters. Finally, let me assure you that the government will continue to engage professional bodies on matters of national interest